What's good, everyone? It's your friendly local chef, PonzoChives, and today I got a very special video for you. We are going to be making a Filipino treat, a classic Filipino dish. It's called pancit. If you've ever had any traditional Filipino cooking, this is probably one of the most basic and delicious dishes that you could make very easily and for pretty cheap too. Before we get into it, I just want to give a shout out to my mom, who has taught me a lot about cooking, and if it wasn't for her, I would not be making this type of food today, because she is such an inspiration in terms of culinary insight and what I can do. A lot of my cooking skill has come from her, and I just want to say thank you, Mom, for this dish, this recipe, and we'll go ahead and get into the ingredients list. So for the ingredients here, we have these rice sticks of Bihon. It doesn't have to be this specific type. This is the best brand that I would recommend, but any type of rice noodle that you can get from your local grocery store would work, but this is the best brand to get. For the seasonings, we're using a little bit of chicken bone broth, can be just chicken stock for sure, some rice vinegar, some oyster sauce, a little bit of fish sauce. Got our shrimps here. That is going to be the main protein of the dish. We also have carrots and green beans to give it a little bit of texture, some garlic for taste. Also got some soy sauce, some mirin, some grapeseed oil, and a little bit of chili oil. A lot of the ingredients, like the mirin, chili oil, rice vinegar, they're nice to haves. If you aren't able to find any of those ingredients at your local grocery store, then that's totally fine. Or if you don't just like the taste, that is cool too. But all of these will go into making a beautiful dish. In terms of the hardware, we're just gonna be using a pretty big pan and a boiling pot. I put some salt in here just to help with the boiling. The rice noodles do not take that long to cook, so even if you don't get this all the way up to a ripping boil, you can just toss those in and let them come up to al dente for like 2.5 to 3 minutes, and then we'll be finishing off the noodles inside of the pan with the rest of the ingredients. All right, so now that we have our pan heating up and it's getting ready, we have our mise en place, which means everything is out and ready to be cooked with. We can go ahead and put some of our grapeseed oil into the pan, let it heat up. Can't use any type of neutral oil. Sesame oil would work great here too. I'm just using grapeseed oil just because that's what we had at the store. And we are going to start with our veggies, start letting them cook down a little bit. So we'll start with our carrots and our green onion, or green beans. And just let these saute down a little bit. You can add a little bit of salt, that might help the cooking process a little bit. I'm also gonna add my garlic in here too. Aromatics would help. Ginger would also taste really good in this. If you had some fresh ginger to throw in, that would be an excellent choice to add in with this. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. Bam. Just let these cook down for a little bit. I'll probably deglaze this with a little bit of the chicken stock as well. But yeah, this will take a few minutes, so I'll go ahead and shoot again when the next steps are ready. So while these are cooking down, I just wanted to talk very briefly about two of the biggest things that have helped me take my cooking to the next level. Two things that are just extremely easy that you can implement, start doing today, and see how your cooking can improve by leaps and bounds. Don't be afraid to try your food as it is cooking. The only way you're really gonna know if the carrots are done, if the green beans are cooked through enough, is if you actually taste it. So, carrots are still a little bit on the crunchy side, which means the green beans are probably the same. Still on the crunchy side. So, we're gonna add a little bit of bone broth because it seems like it's getting a little dry. Helps to glaze the pan a little bit. Help bring a little bit of moisture to the greens and the carrots, so it'll soften up a little bit. The third thing that people can use to start improving their cooking almost overnight is just using more salt. Very, very, very often, people undersalt their salsas, undersalt their dishes, and I understand that a lot of people are afraid of salt, but it does take a considerable amount of salt to oversalt a dish and make it taste unedible. Salt really enhances the flavor of food, and salt really brings out the best flavors of anything. So be sure to always, when you're starting to cook, have your things in place, mise en place. You also want to taste your food as it's cooking. The only time I wouldn't recommend that is trying to eat uncooked chicken or undercooked chicken and see how it tastes. It's probably a bad idea, but any other situation is good. And then don't be afraid to use salt. Go ahead, use some salt. Put salt inside of a little bowl and then use pinches of it. Don't try to use your salt shaker all the time. That just makes it so easy to consistently add the right amount of salt when you need to. I think I might use a little bit of the cooking wine now. So we got the mirin here. I'm gonna do just a little bit, not a whole ton, just enough to help everything else cook. We get through, you can see that there's a nice fond starting to develop at the bottom of the pan. That is definitely a good thing. Brown on the bottom of the pan is a very good thing. That's just extra flavor you're going to be able to add into the dish once you add everything else. So I'm going to give this a little bit extra time to cook on its own, but these are going to stay on the pan as we cook the shrimp as well. So now that this is taking some time to cook through, let's go ahead and taste another piece. See how it's going. Much better. We can definitely taste both the mirin and the chicken stock as well. Chicken stock gives it a little bit more oomph. The mirin gives it a little bit extra tang. And now, add in our heavy hitter, the prawns. These are peeled and deveined shrimp. You can buy just the pre-peeled and deveined frozen shrimp. That'll taste just fine. But I got some prawns. They had some at Costco, and it was a good deal. So I cut them up. Took off the heads and deveined them and all that stuff. All that good stuff. We're probably using about a cup of green beans. If I had to guess, maybe 5 to 6 small to medium-sized carrots, and about 1.5 pounds of shrimp, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less. So we've got a lot of this fond building up. This is a great thing. We'll be able to go ahead and use a little bit of chicken stock. Go ahead and mitigate that. Actually, yeah. Start adding a little bit. We're just going to start just continuing to build the flavors here. Using a little bit of that, a little bit of our rice vinegar, probably about a tablespoon's worth. I've probably used about 1.5 tablespoons worth of chicken stock, and probably 1/2 tablespoon of mirin. I just wanted to add enough liquid to start deglazing the pan a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and throw in the rice noodles. So I want to be able to make these all in one swoop. So my whole brick, I'm just going to toss it in here. What my mom usually did back in the day is that once she got these all submerged and started to tenderize, she would use some scissors to cut them and make them into smaller pieces, which is usually what traditionally would happen. Really, what you're really trying to do with the rice noodles is just get them softened enough to where you can finish them off in the pan. So now that it's warm enough, we're gonna keep on doing that. And I will see you back in a couple minutes where I'll just go ahead and start tossing the rice noodles in. All right, so about 2 minutes have passed, and our rice noodles are ready to be transferred. Like I said, they don't take that long to cook, so we're gonna go ahead and just toss them in here. Make sure you don't wanna leave any rice noodles behind. Rice is life. You cannot live without rice. Here, we want to start adding in all of our flavorings. So 2 tablespoons soy sauce.
2 shots
Not
of
that
vodka.
much. Teaspoon of vinegar. Bam. Add in about a tablespoon's worth of oyster sauce. Bam. About another teaspoon of mirin. Bam. And we'll just mix this all together. Normally, I would try to toss it. If I had a bigger pan, I definitely would try to toss it. But just kind of mix this together. Make sure that all the flavors get well incorporated. Almost forgot. A little bit of chili oil. Like I said, chili oil is probably a bit optional. I think it's pretty done. So, there you go. And we'll kill the heat, and let's see how we did. Oh, hell yeah.
Macaroni in a pot.
It seems like it needs a little bit more vinegar. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a lime. If you don't have a lime handy, that is totally okay. You can use any sort of citrus, like lemon as well, probably, or just some more rice vinegar would work as well. But I think lime adds a little bit of freshness. And there we go. An easy, beautiful dinner done in about 20 minutes. If you wanted to add in onions to this, that would be an excellent choice. I just didn't have any store cloves when I tried making this, so but yeah, there it is. So let's go ahead and start plating up. So the way I will plate up, I'm gonna take some tongs, just try to scoop all the goodness, some of the shrimp, green beans, and carrots. Try to get an equal amount of all of them. Just toss them into a bowl. Don't be shy. Bam. Bam. Beautiful. And there we go. Got some pancit. Beautiful. Cheers. Probably super hot just because it came right off of the stovetop, so. It's very savory, but still a little sweet from the oyster sauce. Has a nice little kick to it with the chili oil, and the lime brings a very nice fresh component to it. So overall, it's just a good, feel-good meal. It's meals like this that bring me back to, you know, family gatherings, special events, celebrations, because usually this is the type of food that would be around then. My mom would usually make this dish on like New Year's Eve or birthday parties, celebrations, like I said, and this type of food just hits me in the nostalgia bone from when I was a kid and having my mom cook for me. Once again, shout out to my mom. Thank you for everything you taught me. And I'm gonna eat my dinner. So, also love cooking like Italian dishes. So any type of food that you'd like for me to see, try to put my own spin on it, let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you want to see some more cooking videos. And this has been an episode of the PonzoChives Chef Stream. So, peace out. Love you guys. Thank you.